Let's talk a little more about conversation and how we can overcome being shy. One mistake when we start coming out of being shy is to think, oh, now I got to talk to everyone and have a conversation like everybody else is. However, let's go step by step so we don't overwhelm. So here's the thing. Most of the time, people don't want to hear us talk. They really don't. And that has nothing to do with being shy. It's just the way it is. Most people want to talk about themselves. And when a person is very passionate about something they're talking about, it is practically useless to try to have them deviate from that topic to talk to us and to allow us to talk to them. There is a trick to overcome this. They are like a balloon that keeps inflating and inflating and leaves no room for us to come in and say something, especially when we're shy. But here's a way to deflate that and to avoid feeling like, oh, I just cannot talk because I don't have room for my voice. So here's what we do. We give ammunition for that person to talk more. That way, eventually, they run out of what to say. Then we can use the 3 principles of our conversation, listen, make comments about what they're talking about, be interested in what they're saying. Now we heard them, we ask a question about that very same topic to see if there's anything else they want to talk, so that when you finally start talking, they don't interrupt you and overtake the conversation. So you might ask, so that vacation to Bali was your favorite, or what was your favorite food there? Let the person empty the bucket. Once they're finished, you don't want to start talking about Mars or stars or anything like that. What you want to do is ask a question or initiate another conversation about Bali. We want to say, well, Bali has been a vacation spot lately. I personally would love to go there. Do you have any good ideas for me when I go there? So start a back and forth conversation, an open-end conversation where the person still feels like they're speaking on the same topic, but now you are speaking to them, formulating questions so that you can talk back and forth. They may say, I visited this little island called whatever. And you might want to say, oh, really? In this little island, do they have those cute little you see on TV and magazines? Do you by chance have any information of a tour company in that area? I'd love to go. And just including yourself in the conversation, having a person to talk to, but it is value in this conversation, because even if you're not going to Bali, maybe you're not, but now you know that there's this little island and there's little huts in there, and you can schedule vacations there, and you can come to this person and they can give you contact for that. So you still included, the person is not turned off by you, but you're talking about the topic the person is interested in. People love to talk about the things that they're interested in. And this is what happens. If you become an expert at listening, you can find things that you can say that involve the topic that you like into that conversation. For example, this person is just crazy about Bali, and you are interested in rice and how to grow rice. You can say, what's their main diet in Bali? And that person say, oh, it's rice or it's fruits or whatever. If it is fruits and you're interested in a kind of fruit, you might want to ask about that fruit. What do they have, like jackfruit, mangoes, what kind? So you pop questions about that thing that is still connected to Bali. Did you notice how they grow rice? Because I noticed that the Chinese grow rice this and this way. Do they do the same? Connect your conversation to their conversation. So they're talking about their interest and not your interest, which they're not interested. If they're interested in Bali, you can fast pray to open a conversation about China growing rice. That's not going to happen. But if you merge the conversation, you marry those conversations together. That's why you start with one question and then expand around the topic. You're asking questions about what they're interested in and merging what you are interested in into that topic. It actually does help a lot overcome fear of conversation. That will keep the person engaged and keeps you engaged in the conversation. And it's a great, delightful way to find out new things. It takes practice. So start small. And if you strike up a conversation, like I gave you an example, and then you start feeling anxious and don't have anything else to say, it's fine. You can say, oh, excuse me, I need to check on something. Excuse yourself. Don't force a conversation with anybody. And guess what? When you start doing that, next time that person see you, they're going to come to you and want to talk some more. Did you find something else about how they grow rice in China? Now, that person wants to talk to you about your interest. You see that? That's how conversations start. Make it small at first. And you see that pretty soon, you're going to have so many people wanting to talk to you that you don't even remember that you used to be shy. So have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon.